Hi everyone. So today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the process that I use to catch up when I'm behind on Project Life. So I mentioned in my update video that I am several weeks behind. This is the furthest behind I've been all year, and although it seems a little bit daunting, I am determined to catch up, and I had some requests to share my process for catching up with all of you. So I'm just going to walk you through really quickly what I do. It's not very groundbreaking. I don't think there's anything too earth-shattering in my process, but I thought I'd share it with you anyway. So first of all, I take all of my photos with my iPhone. I have an iPhone 8 Plus, and it's pretty much what I use for everything. I do have a DSLR at work. It's not mine personally, but I have it at work, and I do use it sometimes to grab some snapshots of things that I may want to include in my album, or more accurately, I use it a lot for work, and I just use some of those photos in my Project Life sometimes when they apply to me personally. So because I use my iPhone and because I have a Mac, I don't use any other special program to organize my photos. I just use iPhoto because it syncs and they're all there, and I don't have to do any other extra work. iPhoto has a terrible system for organizing photos, and I have often considered getting something like Lightroom that might help me organize them better, but for now I have iPhoto, and that's what I use, and it works just fine. So my phone automatically syncs to my computer, so I usually edit on my computer, but sometimes I use my phone to edit. I have a PicTapGo app, which is amazing. If you haven't used it, you should definitely check it out. It does as well as Photoshop, which is what I use when I'm on my computer. So I have an older version of Photoshop on the computer I use most often to edit my photos, and it works just fine. It's CS5. It's absolutely fine for editing photos, some basic editing, just basically lightening or cropping and that sort of thing. So I edit my photos. I put them into a 4x6 canvas. Because I do all 3x4s, it's mostly 3x4s with some 4x6 photos. I don't hardly ever do anything bigger. So I put them onto a 4x6 canvas, and then I just print directly to my printer on Canon photo paper, just 4x6 photo paper. So I print, when I'm behind, I print, I try and do 4 weeks at a time. That seems to work for me. That's about how much time I can find to sit down and work on it. So I will go to iPhoto, I will go to the week that or the dates of the week that I am working on. I will pull all of the photos that I think I want to use from that week into Photoshop, edit them, and print them. And I'll do that for 4 weeks. And then once they're printed, I go through and write the dates on the back because I'm right there and I have iPhoto open, just so I can make sure that when I get to the next stage that all the dates are there and I don't have to go back and search through my photos to figure out when they were taken. So once they're all printed, I usually put them in this little container until I can get around to separating them up by week. And that's where I'm at right now. So this is 4 weeks of photos, and I've already obviously edited them and printed them. Now I just need to trim them all and then divide them into the weeks that they belong in. Okay, so now I have all of my photos trimmed, and I just use this little guillotine trimmer from Fiskars. This was really inexpensive. I think I only paid $10 for it, and you can probably find it at any big box store. I find that this kind of trimmer works best to get the tiny little bits that I need to trim off of the edge of the photos. Sometimes my first cut isn't exactly right, and this one really gets just the tiniest little slivers trimmed very neatly. So that's what I use to trim them out. So now I have them all trimmed out. I don't cut the 4x6 photos in half yet. I wait and see if I actually am going to use them, because I don't always end up using all of the photos that I've printed. And also it helps just keep them together and reminds me that it's an actual 4x6 photo, not a 3x4. So I just leave those as is. The next thing I do is create these little Post-its, and I just go to my planner. I use a Get to Work book and look at the week numbers and dates and write them out on little Post-its. And then I put them on my desk like this, separate them around the desk, and then I just go through my stack of photos and put them where they belong. Okay, so now they're all divided up. You can see this one was missing a date. I had trimmed it off when I trimmed the photo, but I knew which ones it went with, so I just matched it to the photos, the other photos in the week. So now that I have them all divided by week, I just put them all together. Oops. So I just put them all together. I usually put the 3x4s in front, and then I just put them in a really inexpensive sandwich bag. This is just from the grocery store. It's not even name brand, it's store brand, and I just slip them all into this little bag. That keeps the week all together until I'm ready to actually get it in my scrapbook. And then I put this sticker inside the bag on the back, and I used to put it on the outside of the bag, but of course it's plastic and those little Post-its don't always stay stuck for very long, so I found it's better if I keep that inside the bag. And then I do that for all the weeks that I have here. Okay, and once I have them all bagged up, I put them back in this little container. And this one container is for the current Project Life photos that I'm working on. I have a larger container that these little photo containers fit into that holds all of the photos that I have printed that I haven't scrapbooked. But I know that this container is just for my current Project Life. So these bags don't fully fit in there, but you have to kind of bend them over a little bit to get them in, but it works, and it's cheaper than other options that I've used in the past. So that is how well, that's not how I get caught up, it's how I get prepared to get caught up. Then when I'm ready to do a week of Project Life, I just grab the next week that I have stored in here and pull out the photos and look at the content and the colors, and if I don't have a kit to work with, find a collection that I think will work well with it, and then lay them out on the page that I want to do and get started. This way, when I have time to scrap, I don't have to worry about printing photos or editing photos. They're all ready to go. I have several weeks ready to go. So if I have a couple hours, I can usually get a few spreads done, and that is the fastest way that I have found to get caught up when I get behind on projects. So I almost forgot to mention an important part of my catch-up process, and that's how I include ephemera in my Project Life albums. When there is something that I want to save and potentially keep for my Project Life album, I just slip it into this little bag. It's not divided by time frame or anything. It just holds all of the ephemera that is from this year that I haven't yet put into my albums. So when I'm ready to do a week, I always just flip through here and see if there's anything that goes along with a photo from that week or a story from that week and pull it out to add to my album. This one is actually from a particular time period, so I know all of this goes together. This was from a trip that I took earlier this year, so this will all get added to that, that week's spread if I choose to add it. Sometimes I don't add everything that I've saved, but this keeps it all together in case I do want to use it. So once I'm ready to do a Project Life spread, I'll just go through these things and pull out anything that I want to add. So I hope that that's helped you a little bit. Like I said, nothing earth-shattering, but it's been working for me for a long time, so hopefully it will work for you too. Thanks so much for watching, guys.